You didn't start the pain. You didn't ask to grow up in a home filled with shouting, distance, or even silent resentment. But now you're an adult, carrying all that pain, trying to build a life and a family without repeating what broke you as an individual. And here's the truth. Most people won't tell you, but if you don't heal it, you'll hand it down to your children, and they'll hand it down and it'll keep going. Maybe not through your words, but through your behavior, through your silence, and through your reactions. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to start breaking that cycle through forgiveness, self-accountability, and Islamic healing. So let me ask you something. Are you willing to be the one who actually ends the pain? We've all gone through situations that we don't like and that we've had to deal with growing up and all of the rest of that. And some of it is justified. Others is just sometimes what we feel. But the pain is real. And the last thing that we want to do is pass that on to the next generation. Now, you can end that generational pain, but it won't happen by pretending that it never happened. It starts by facing the truth, by forgiving without forgetting, because that's almost impossible, and building new emotional habits that align with what Allah Ta'ala He loves. It's about choosing peace over pride and growth over blame. Now, in terms of why this matters, and you know I always explain it to you from a personal lens, from a community lens, and from a future lens. And this is because there are a lot of different ways to see this particular issue and the effects on how it doesn't just affect us, but everybody around us and those we haven't even met yet. So right now, what I want to do is I want to start with how it affects us on a personal level, or this through that title or topic that I always bring, the personal lens. So let's get started. Generational pain doesn't just disappear with age. Many of us are adults still reacting to childhood wounds, those things that happened before. We don't even realize sometimes that we're actually reacting to these things when other things come up in our lives. And the last thing we want to do is we don't want to take it out on individuals who had nothing to do with it. I'm sure you've all had situations where you were sitting around talking and discussing and playing with individuals and they just wigged out all of a sudden. You were like, yo, where'd that come from? A lot of times this comes from this generational pain. And the last thing we want to do is pass it on to the generation that's coming after us. So it has to be dealt with. Many of us are adults still reacting to childhood wounds. The way you argue, the way you withdraw, or the way you overcompensate is often a reflection of pain that you never addressed. Healing, or healing it, I should say, means that you finally stop letting your past control your present. And in terms of on the community level, or the community lens that we always talk about, our ummah is struggling with broken homes, disconnected families, and parents raising children who feel unseen and maybe even unheard. When one person heals, they don't just fix their life, but they actually change the emotional DNA of the next generation. Healing yourself is an act of sadaqah for the entirety of your family. And when we talk about on the future lens or for the future, you have to understand that if nothing changes, the same patterns of silence, the same patterns of anger, and the same emotional neglect will repeat time and time and time again. Your children will grow up with the same wounds that you fought to escape from all of your life. But if you choose healing now, your home can become a place of mercy, not a place of fear, and a place where Allah is remembered through love, not through pain. Now, I want you to ask yourself, which one of these perspectives hits you the hardest? Is what we just talked about in terms of your personal struggle, or in terms of your family? Or is it the issue of the future that you want to build? Now, let's tie all of this in with our everyday lives now. Let's be real. Many Muslims today carry deep emotional pain, but they mask it with religious talk. They mask it with work, or they mask it with busyness. Some of us grew up in homes where parents never said, "I love you," where affection was rare and where anger was normal. Others saw their parents silent for days after arguments, pretending that everything was fine, but everyone knew that everyone was quietly suffering. You might be that person now. And when I say now, I mean right now. You're quick to snap, slow to forgive, or afraid of emotional closeness. You may even tell yourself, "I'm just like my mom," or "I'm turning into my dad." And that thought in itself, it scares you. And this is something that a lot of times, is normal. These issues that we have within ourselves, whether they're real traumas or just feelings that we may have, they need to be dealt with. They can't just continue to be ignored for the sake of future generations. But here's the truth, that awareness is the first sign that Allah wants good for you. Because you can't heal what you won't face. So now that we've discussed the problem, we discussed how it affects our everyday life and even into the future. Now we're going to talk about some practical solutions. What can we do? You ready? And also, this is the point in the video where I always tell you to get your pens and paper. By now, you should almost have a book written. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the steps to follow to make this change that you need to make for yourself, or I should say for the good of yourself, as well as the good of your family. Healing generational pain takes courage, but it's possible. And Islam gives us the framework to do it. So let's talk about these steps. Step 1, acknowledge the pain without excuse. The Prophet ﷺ, he taught us to face truth with honesty. Admit what happened to you was painful. Stop minimizing it with phrases like, "they did their best," and "it wasn't that bad." You can honor your parents while still acknowledging your wounds. There's nothing wrong with that. Healing starts where honesty begins. The second step, forgive for the sake of Allah. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what they did was okay. It means that you choose to stop letting their actions define your heart. Allah Ta'ala, He says in the Quran, "Let them pardon and overlook. Would you not love for Allah to forgive you?" And this is in Surah An-Nur. Forgiving those who hurt you is not a weakness. It's actually a freedom. You forgive because you deserve peace. And step 3, Learn emotional accountability. What do I mean by that? Healing is not just about the past. It's about who you are now. Stop saying, that's just how I am. And start saying, this is something that I can change. The Prophet ﷺ said that the strong one is not the one who can wrestle others down, but the one who controls himself in anger. When you hold yourself accountable, you take back control from your past. And step 4, relearn love and mercy through Islam. Study how the Prophet ﷺ showed love to his family. He ﷺ played with children, expressed affection, and spoke gently. He ﷺ said, he's not one of us who does not show mercy to our young and respect our elders. Now that's emotional intelligence rooted in revelation. You can build that same softness in your homes. Step 5, seek help without shame. It's okay to seek counseling, life coaching, or even mentorship, especially if you need it. Islam encourages wisdom wherever it's found. Healing isn't a lack of faith. It's a sign that you value the amana that Allah Ta'ala gave you, your mind, your heart, and your family. There are a lot of people out here that if they worked on forgiving their families and their friends and all of the rest of that, yes, forgiveness is something that's good for that other individual, but it's even better for you in changing the reality of your life and the peace that you're exposed to right now. And here's the point in which I want to hear from you all. What do you think is really stopping individuals from ending that pain? Is it pride? Is it fear? Or is it the thought that forgiveness means letting them off the hook? Or maybe even something else? And be honest. This is a safe space for reflection. I don't know why I always have a hard time saying safe space. All right, but this is. And also understand that if this message hit you the way I'm hoping it did, then know you're not alone. There are thousands of Muslims just like you who are trying to heal. They're trying to break patterns and they're trying to rebuild with sincerity. Subscribe to this channel. Like, comment, and share the video. And make sure to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because the more we heal, the stronger our ummah becomes. Remember, you didn't start the pain, but you can be the one who ends it.